evening. Okay, as a little bit of a background on me, I am a social psychologist, which basically means that I study groups of people, and my favorite group of people to study are my people, Bermudians. So, in coming back to Bermuda, just because I lived in the UK for about 6 years or so, and coming back, it just made me very aware of, one, my Bermudianness, and just some of the differences between Bermuda and living in the UK. So this presentation is on something that I observed in a quote-unquote professional way, and yeah, I hope you appreciate it. Okay. I don't know about you, but I am a proud Bermudian. I love my country. What's not to love? We're gorgeous, have good weather, stable infrastructure, friendly people, and you're never more than a mile from a beach. Who couldn't love us? Who couldn't love us except ourselves, of course? As gorgeous as the island is, as amazing the people, we as Bermudians don't have a great appreciation of our own fabulousness. To listen to some Bermudians, you'd think that the island is a pretty place with a bunch of boring slackers living here, and that's simply not the case. What do I mean? Bermudians don't give good customer service. Bermudians are lazy and don't like to work when it rains. Bermuda has no culture. Well, I've had great customer service from Bermudians in Bermuda, nor has the island ever shut down due to rain unless it's attached to a hurricane. We need to stop accepting the exception like it's the rule. It's not good for our international reputation or our collective self-esteem. So why do we take on these negative stereotypes? I've come to the conclusion that Bermudians suffer from the dangerous disease of small island syndrome. This disease of disregard and doubt causes us to downplay our accomplishments, think we're not as good as, can't compete with, or defer to larger jurisdictions. It also causes a disconnect between our country, which can cause us to lose our culture. I understand how it can happen. At 21 square miles, essentially we are a speck on the map. And despite having been here for over 400 years, many people still don't know where we are or conflate us with the Caribbean. And living away, I can understand how frustrating it is to have to explain where the island is. And no, you can't travel to Bermuda without disappearing into the triangle. As frustrating as these situations can be, we have to protect ourselves from the impact of size. Just as a person can be impacted by constant negative messaging, so can a country's belief in their people and what they can do as a country be compromised due to constant negative messaging. Now, I'm not saying that Bermuda can't do that there are no limitations on the island because of our size. At the same time, we have to stop comparing ourselves to others because we do contribute to the world. Now, it's well known that we are leaders in the insurance and the reinsurance industry, but we're also leaders in environmental science. Non-Such Island inspired the entire discipline of ecological restoration. Bias's Bat Survey is the longest-running oceanic survey, making Bermuda a long-time contributor to understanding global climate change. The problem with size is we take ourselves out of the game before it even starts, or we give away the best of ourselves with little in return because we don't think that we deserve more. Size is heard when we when we talk badly about Bermuda. It's seen when Bermudian talent is overlooked. It's felt when young Bermudians kill one another in gang warfare. The danger in small island syndrome is not just in the thinking, it's in how the thinking impacts behavior. Another way size can be seen to have infiltrated Bermuda is in our tourism product. Because we have deferred to others for so long, we struggle in our presentation to the world. If we cannot define and describe who we are to each other, how can we sell ourselves to others? Yes, So how do we combat this disease? The first course of treatment is to define who we are based on our shared values and principles. By defining who we are, we're better able to combat the negative stereotypes. It's not enough to say who we are not. We have to be strong and confident in who we are. Despite our country's motto, we are the determiners of our destiny. And just because someone yells loudly or repeats something over and over, does not make it true of us unless we allow it to define us. The second course of treatment is high levels of cultural appreciation and immersion. By learning our history, participating in our traditions, and appreciating our culture, the mind is changed and the heart is able to grow a deeper affection to country. Our culture not only defines who we are, but it tells others. As a tourism destination, it is our unique selling point. It is the lack of appreciation of our culture that has made it hard for us, that has made Bermuda susceptible to small island syndrome. The third course of treatment is to celebrate ourselves loudly, unapologetically, and often. Big up yourself. Every day, actually, is Bermuda Day. So wave your flag high. Big up your country to any and everyone, local and tourist alike, because we are a fabulous country. Now, when doing this presentation and telling people about it, many cited, they could agree with me and cited our neighbors to the west as having an undue influence on us. While it may be tempting to assimilate ourselves into another culture, we must not. The grass is not always greener on the other side. I want Bermudians to see what I see, the beauty, the potential. We live in a gorgeous island full of charm and history. Yes, we are small, but great things come in this tiny package. Let us leave the doubting of our abilities to others. Let them be surprised when we surpass expectations and shine. We can do anything we want because we are Bermudians. Let us be our own uplifters. Let us set our minds to improving our relationship to Bermuda, because we all have a role to play in combating small island syndrome. Thank you.
So, hi, Davida. Hey. So you prefaced your talk about your observations between having lived in the UK and living in Bermuda. Can you speak to some specific differences between sort of, British identity and Bermudian identity, and sort of, where is one stronger and why, and anything like that? Not even just stronger, just what did you observe, the major differences between like the British identity, because when you're in the UK, I went to school in the UK, and I went to school with everyone from everywhere, who are second generation, first generation British, beg your pardon, and their families were from everywhere, but there was still a really sort of strong sense of British identity. Or what do you, those sort of differences? Thanks.
The majority of my friends in the UK were British born, but they were, because I was in the soca community, because I love soca, they were Jamaicans, Guyanese, Bajan, and they're British, without question, but they also had a tie to their island, like, this is who I am. In Bermuda, we kind of don't have that same, I am Bermudian, I am proud of being Bermudian, I am strong in that. What I've found is that we're kind of, I'm Bermudian, but, I really like the States, and we need to be more like, Americans and this and that. And what I have found often is how Bermudians just talk badly about the island, like, Bermudians need to do this, so see, in the States they do this, and we need to do that, and in the UK they do this, and we need to do that, and there is we don't appreciate what we have. And there is, when tourists come here, they love how clean the island is, how friendly the people are. Because you go to somewhere like London, where I was living, people aren't really friendly, just for no reason friendly. So where you're going to find someone helping you here, you don't get that as much in the UK. It's not to say that it doesn't happen, but it's fewer and farther between. So the how we are, I think, is what is not appreciated or understood. Our friendliness is something amazing, especially in the present day and time when there is so much divisiveness on so many levels. So I think that's one way where Bermudians kind of don't appreciate ourselves, where in other countries, like, well, we've done this and that, and like, you know, we're great in this in these ways, but I don't think there's as much as an understanding or a highlighting of our talent and our contributions. So I think if we had more of that, Bermudians would be able to be more stronger in our love for our country and in who we are.
And thank you very much to all of our speakers. Thank you very much for coming out tonight. We know there were a lot of competing events, so I'm very impressed that you found us. So thank you very much to Cheryl Hastings, Jeff Parker, Gordon Johnson, Sophia Cannoneer, Corinne Bailey, Anne Hyde, Pete Saunders, and Davida Morris. But a big thank you to Vasco da Gama, of course, to Limon for filming us this evening, Channel 82, support Channel 82. And Nikki has the lime green bag that you cannot avoid. It is a free event, but we should donate to the venue and we should also donate to Limon. So please do donate in Nikki's green bag there. Thank you very much and have a good evening.